Hi everybody, I'm Jack Devine. Welcome back to another episode of Jacksnax. Today we're going to take a look at these four amazing vintage Gibson guitars from the 50s and 60s. This is a 61. All right, that is still a Les Paul though. That is still technically a Les Paul Jr. Okay, so from left to right we have 55 single cut sunburst. Right, that's just a junior. 56. Junior single cut sunburst. Here we go. This is probably the Cadillac of them all. This is the special from 56. And then, like I said, the 61 Junior, okay? So this is after they stopped making it in this style, right? They went to the SG shape, but it was still technically called the Les Paul for the first couple of years. So we're gonna run through all four of these, and I'll show you roughly what I think of them and what their advantages and disadvantages are. And granted, this could all vary depending on the guitar, the pickup, the player, the amp. Everything is up for grabs, obviously, when you get into, these are like individuals. And sometimes there's chemistry between you and a particular guitar. The guitar, this is mine, and the other three belong to a dear friend of mine named Rip. Rip, thank you very much for loaning me these instruments. Awesome, awesome move. Thank you very much, and let's get started, okay? All right, let's take a look at this sucker. This is the 55. I'm going from oldest to youngest. So we'll start here. 1955 Les Paul Jr. Awesome guitar. Solid mahogany neck, set neck glued in there. And you got one dog ear P90, these kind of speed knobby kind of joints. And you got a black burst around the edge. You'll see my 56 has the same back color on the side, but this is black. So they sprayed the edge all the way to black, and then they kept going, and then they stop on the back. The back is brown, the sides are black, and the top black too, gradating into this yellow color, okay? Some lovely checking on this instrument too. You can see there's both a lateral and, coming both this way and across, okay? Primarily, this one's getting a lot of this energy though. All right, now we've got one replacement button. I think that is maybe the B2. These other ones are shrunken up like little raisins. Original frets, original nut, original everything. I think this one has the original bridge. Rip lent me so many of these guitars, and all of them are straight with the exception of one of them. I know the SG has a replacement bridge, with the original in the case, and I think it's the special has a newly fabricated one with compensation baked into it, so you don't have to tilt it quite this much. This guitar has an exceptionally killer pickup in it. So I'm going to start out here, both controls on 6. All right. Now this is just like a standard kind of cleanish sound with a little bit of breakup. When I plug my Strat into this sound, all right, the most I can get out of it breakup wise is maybe like that. But you roll this up to 10, you've got great rock and roll sound. I mean, this just sounds so good, but let's just keep it down in the cleans for a second. I got a little verb on there. Now I'm up at 7.5. Let's wind it up. So what I love about these guitars is the dog ear P90 models. They have a certain thud in the low end. And the cool thing is that seems to translate even to the plain strings. Like there's a support underneath the G, B, and E strings. And I've heard it on every P90 that's dog ear mounted. I also hear a very similar thing on Charlie Christian pickups. I don't get it out of the soap bar in the bridge. I do get it out of the soap bar up in the neck. So I don't know if it has to do with there being just one pickup or how it's mounted, or just the fact that usually the soap bar can't get as close. You can see that these are pretty close to those pickups. To those strings, all right? But some definitely happens, all right? Now with the special, you get some more sounds, but the bridge sound is different to me. This guitar, like I said, has the most ferocious bridge pickup of the bunch. a tube screamer. Let's see what this does here. Back down the tone a little bit. Amazingly dynamic pickup. You add just a little bit of boost up front of your amp, and you got the clean sound from heaven right there. Really nice. Still with enough grind that if you dig in, and then if you wind it up, I'm on 7 right now. And thick. And again, that's just a tube screamer. If we add some fuzz or more gain, you can get into some Sabbath sounds. We'll check that in a second. So I mean, that's pretty good. That's light gain out of the tube screamer. Then we back it down. You got a clean sound. So. Love that. All right, now let's detune this thing and we'll wrap it up. Here we go. Let's check this out. See what we got here. It's a humongous sound out of a single coil guitar. To have that, that's cool. There's something to be said for just one pickup. Phil X, you're kind of on the money, I think. If you can get away with it, that is. I am not man enough to rock the single pickup 2-knob guitar. I need more because I am I don't know. I'm just not that guy. But this is still just an amazing instrument. 55, killer, all straight, with the exception of those tuner buttons. All right, we'll be back in a second. We'll look at my 56 in comparison. All right, no, this is its slightly younger brother. All right, this is my 56. I'm very familiar with this instrument. I love this guitar. I had it refretted by Dan Earlywine with slightly, and I mean slightly, taller and wider wire, and he did a bone nut for it. It has reproduction buttons on it already. It came that way from the original owner. And I've had this guitar for, I don't know, almost 20 years, maybe more. Anyway, this is a great guitar, single P90, and like I said, this one has brown edge on the, see the burst ends at the top, it doesn't go over the side. And this one, again, has the aforementioned, I said that my friend Rip's guitar has one of these that's made with the compensation. This is just like that too. The original's in its case. These came with those alligator cases. So let's just, enough of my yakking. Okay, so here we go. 6 and 6. So again, nice clean sound. This guitar has slightly less oomph out of the bridge when we get there. The 55 sounds like this guitar on 10 when it's on 9. That 55 has a little extra something, plus also the tone is a little, like mine tone up at 7.5 sounds kind of like that one on 6. So that guitar is brighter and more aggressive, has just a better pickup, definitely. My guitar plays a little nicer because of the new fret maintenance and stuff. So let's add a little something, and we'll do the kind of a Midnight Rambler thing. You know. Sound. When you roll down the tone down to, like I said, around 5, you can get these thicker, more like very nice, and then you brighten it up if you want to play more. You got a lot of different sounds living inside that tone knob. I'm not sure what happens, but it sounds like the mids go down, even though you're rolling down the volume, right? It seems like the EQ actually changes too. Like if you listen, like a lot of the gain disappears, not because of the volume, but because the content actually seems to change. Like the frequencies are definitely, so it's like thins out the middle too. So you get kind of a brighter and less gainy sound, so you can afford to turn down the tone knob and get a nice clean sound, right? And then very cool. Now I know that I'm tapping into some Live at Leeds stuff, and that's done on an SG special, not on a Les Paul Jr., but it's the closest I can get. And when I bust out this guitar, I can't help but, do that and that kind of thing. But I'm not going to play rest in peace, Leslie. I'm not going to tag that one. But listen to this. It's still got that low end thud. A little bit, and there it is. That nice thing. So that's my 56. Very cool guitar, pretty straight. The one thing I will note about it that's kind of exceptional is if you look here, there's this beautiful figuring and this kind of landscaping that runs through the fingerboard. Here, I'll see if I can get it. That light kind of sucks for showing this stuff, but right here, this kind of inky black streak that runs through this, and this would have been seen as undesirable back in 1956. And that's why it wouldn't have appeared on like a Les Paul standard, but they didn't want to throw away a perfectly good piece of wood, I guess. So, you know, they put it on a student model. But now you'd actually probably have to pay quite a bit extra to get some of that figuring. You can see it across the fingerboard. Beautiful Brazilian rosewood here. And Dan did do a great job, I will say. I kind of wish I went with the bigger frets because that's still my preference. But this is kind of like the right fret size for this. Both these guitars have roughly the same kind of big neck without huge cartoonishly fat shoulders. That's the biggest problem I think with these reissues, is that they haven't really figured out how to get the substantial feel without it being so cumbersome dimensionally this way. So like you can't get your thumb over it because it's so busy coming back straight away from the fingerboard. So the shoulder being so deep makes it hard to reach and get over, but not with this guitar, and certainly not with the 55. The 55 has a slightly more svelte neck. I think, you know, that must have been a guitar they made on a, you know, on a Monday, and this was one they made on a Friday. They just kept a little extra meat on the bone on here. But really, really close. I think I prefer the sound of that one and the playability of this one. Great guitars though, really super fun. All right. TV model. Yeah, baby. This is cool. This is a special, right? Not a junior. 2 pickups. So different pickguard shape, binding. And obviously you got the TV yellow and soap bar pickups. So in addition to getting the neck sound, there is definitely a distinction between the way this bridge pickup sounds and the other one. It's not worse. It's just in order to get this sounding ideal, to me, this starts to be out of balance with this, and I can't just alter this guitar, but I probably would try to if it was mine. I would probably try to get this a little hotter and more aggressive sounding, so I could, you'll see when I get the neck pickup sounding the way I like it, right, like this. I mean, that is as good as it gets. I love that sound. Pickup, this sounds like has this kind of clucky, chimey. Right, I mean, that's just beautiful. Instrument. Anyway, but when you're here and you're playing, now I'll put that roughly where I would normally go to the bridge. The bridge seems slightly emasculated compared to the neck, and it seems like it's always that way. So watch, when we wind it up with some gain, right? You're going to end up with this nearly ideal neck sound. Still still a lot of clarity and bite. Kind of a pronounced vowel energy and very fluty with a vowel kind of sound to it. So then we go to the bridge. It sounds cool. As magnificent as that to me, where the 55, the bridge, if I could have that'd be the perfect guitar. That and maybe get rid of the hum. These things are kind of noisy, right? So let's do the thing where I roll down the volume a little bit and play that kind of you can see there's just a ton more versatility with the two pickups. You get three sounds, three pickup combinations, and all of the goodness that you get out of the Junior. You get all the cool, weird things that happen with I'm not sure if it's the capacitance or whatever happens. There's some tone shaping that takes place within the volume knob. It's really interesting, right? I mean, up here, very thick. Down a little bit, and all the mid-range drops out. It gets much cleaner. Same here. No, and then we combine them, and we got some really yummy stuff. Don't forget, we still have the gain up, right? We still have access without touching the pedal board. Very cool guitar. Not quite as inspirational to me on the bridge, but still, wow, what a great neck pickup. All right, so this guitar, 100% straight, if I'm not mistaken, even the buttons, frets, nut, saddle. Oh, this is the one that has not the original case, but I think the case was from a burst or something really cool. You know, that was back when they just, take this old case. And this one has the compensated saddle, not saddle, but, you know, bridge kind of fabricated for it with the original in the case. So really hot shit guitar, no doubt about it. This is really an amazing piece. And you got to check, I mean, one of these days, maybe you'll be fortunate enough to get in a room with a bunch of these and compare them like this. But the patina on these guitars, it tells just such a cool story. You can just see all the love and all the sweaty nights and all the practicing, and just like there's the mahogany peeking through and all the special places like somebody clearly wore right through there. Wonderful instrument. Les Paul Special, 1956. Mwah. Thank you, Rip. Totally awesome guitar. We are in the home stretch here. This is my friend's 61 Les Paul. That's right, Les Paul Jr. You can see up here, Les was still making these, he's still lending his name to the Gibson company when they went to this shape for a little while, but he did not like it and ultimately withdrew, and that's why the model just didn't exist for, I don't know, whatever that is. 6 years or 7 years, and then they kind of brought it back in '68, I think, with the actual single cut style that was kind of the bone of contention, I think, between both parties. This is an amazing design guitar. It does have a few elements about it that make it a tad more frail, and in particular for a student guitar, it wouldn't be my first consideration for a new guitar student. One, you got the telltale Gibson prone to break neck joint. Now, I've owned, I don't know, 15 or 20 vintage Gibsons. I've only broken the headstock once, and it was when the Northridge earthquake came and knocked an entire Mesa Boogie stack onto my Les Paul Custom, snapping its head off. I was back up and playing 2 days later in a club with courtesy of a repair by John Carruthers. Not a great repair, but still pretty good. Anyway, so while that does exist and is highly common, it wasn't that big a deal. And to tell you the truth, the guitar actually played great for many years after. This guitar, however, has not only that weak spot, it has very little going on right here connecting the neck to the body. All right, and even less so if you have the dual pickup special, if I'm not mistaken. And then right here, this area is particularly prone to cracking, especially, please don't get mad at me for using a straight angle plug. My right angle just shorted out. So anyway, if you there's a very thin amount of wood here in the control cavity. And so this part of the mahogany is very brittle. So if you hit the guitar, the cable this way, you can break them out. So my suggestion is, if you ever gig with one of these guitars, please invest in right angle cable. Not the original bridge, obviously, but this one intonates nicely, and the original is in the case. My friend Rip is a really cool guitar collector here in Brooklyn. Many thanks to the Ripper. Anyway, this is a very cool guitar. It's not my favorite of the four that I have, but this is still an amazing, cool guitar. It has a great pickup. Not quite as nice as the two Sunburst Juniors that we tried earlier, but I like the bridge more than I do the soap bar. So let's hear this sucker. Let's get this thing wound up a little bit. So it definitely has a slightly more mid-range and less low end. Definitely a very cool sound though. Let's do it. So did you notice that, like, it was a little thick, so I turned it down and the treble came up, and it, very cool sounding guitar though. lively, but still really, really good. So if we keep it nice and clean, right, we still have access. That P90, this one doesn't quite have the shimmer that the earlier one had to me, but there's a nice little chirp that goes on with this guitar, though. I've gotten to know it over the last month since I borrowed this stuff from Rip. Anyway, if you're interested in getting a Junior at significantly less price, I mean the single cut, 50 stuff is way more expensive, but this is still a great guitar and super, super fun to play. Really, really enjoyable. Anyway, that's gonna wrap things up for us. So I'll be back in a second just to, for some closing remarks. Thanks. So that's gonna wrap it up for me and these 4 beautiful instruments. Again, from left to right, 55, 56, 56, 61. And we've got Junior, Junior, Special, Junior. All right, amazing instruments. I hope you guys got as big a kick out of hearing these things as I did out of playing them. They're just amazing instruments, and I would wholeheartedly recommend you get something like this if you can afford it, rather than the reissues. I don't think the reissues have the stuff. There's something going on inside these old pickups that is just not really there, and I have yet to find a modern recreation of a 50s pickup. You may find a great guitar and put an old pickup in it. That might be a nice midway point. That would probably be what I would do if I was looking to get a gig where like a guitar like this is very expensive. So maybe gigging it doesn't make everybody feel comfortable, but I do. But thanks again to Rip for loaning me 3 of these beautifuls. This one, and the 55. My 56 will be staying with me, hopefully until I stop playing. But I really do appreciate you guys tuning into the channel. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, and that way I can keep you posted with, with any and all developments and whatever's going on here. Usually it's playing stuff, but today I just wanted to share with you these 4 beautiful, amazing guitars and compare and contrast them, in kind of a semi-scientific way that and also just a slight editorial. Like, to me, that 55 is the monster of the bunch. It just has such an incredible pickup snarl to it. The 56 is my guitar, so I know it best, but it's a great all-rounder. The 56 Special has some incredible tones on tap when you blend, and also the neck pickup is a breath of fresh air, and something I'm not used to having. So I really like this guitar a lot, but the bridge pickup isn't quite what I'm looking for out of this instrument. And the 61 is not my cup of tea. Generally speaking, the SG kind of pushes the whole thing out to the left for me, but still, that's a hell of a lot of guitar for what you end up paying for these days. I don't know about 61s, but even a little later when there's SG specials rather than Les Paul specials, or not specials, Juniors, right? So this is a cool instrument, but still, this is the 4th in a 4-horse race for me. I love them all, but if I had to pick one, I would probably go with that 55. If I could trade my 56 for that 55, I'd get it refretted in a heartbeat. It's a great guitar. I mean, magic pickup. I don't understand it. I normally would be like, that guitar, that pickup, blah. So great. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Enough of my yakking. Let's boogie. All right. I'll see you later. Cheers.